Namaskar dosto, in this video we will discuss on budgeting on railway, demands for grants and definition of some budgetary terms used in finance and last but not the least introduction of financial structure. So let's discuss. Budgeting on railways. Budget is a statement of the estimated annual receipts and expenditure both on capital as well as revenue transactions of an organization. It is a process of planning and reviewing the activities of an organization. These statements are submitted to both the Houses of Parliament viz. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The expenditure on railways may be either voted or charged. The expenditure covered under the former category requires the approval of Parliament. In respect of charged expenditure, the sanction of the President is conveyed without being submitted for the vote of Parliament. It is one of the means by which parliamentary control on railways is exercised. Parliament has got the powers to assent or to refuse to assent or to reduce the amount proposed by the Railways Ministry during the course of discussion on railway budget. The votable part of expenditure together with the charged appropriation is presented to Parliament in the form of demands or grants. As at present there are 16 demands for grants. Grant 3 to 13 is taken under revenue budget and grants 16 is taken under capital budget. Their 16 numbers of demands for grant are as under 1. Railway Board. 2. Research, Audit and MISC. Establishment. 3. General Superintendence and Services on Railways. 4. Repairs and Maintenance, Permanent Ways and Works. 5. Repairs and Maintenance of Motive Power. 6. Repairs and Maintenance of Carriage and Wagons. 7. Repairs and Maintenance of Plant and Equipments. 8. Operating expenses, rolling stock and equipments. 9. Operating expenses, traffic. 10. Operating expenses, fuel. 11. Staff welfare and amenities including payment to medical staff. What do you mean by voted and charged expenditure? The expenditure proposed in the budget to be met out of the Consolidated Fund of India may be either 1. Voted or 2. Charged. Voted expenditure included items for which the provisions of funds is subject to vote of Parliament while funds for the charged expenditure are sanctioned by the President and are not submitted to the vote of Parliament. The following are the expenditure charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. 1. The salary, allowance and pension payable to or in respect of Controller and Auditor General of India. 2. Any sums required to satisfy any judgment, decree or award of any court or arbitral tribunal and 3. Any other expenditure declared by the Constitution or by Parliament by law to be charged. Definition of term demand for grants. The estimates of working expenses and expenditure on works, plant and machinery and rolling stock program as fixed by the RLY. Board is consolidated under convenient groups which are called demands for grants. Definition of term allotments. The grants as voted by Parliament and the appropriations as sanctioned by the President are distributed by the RLY. BD among the railway administrations as soon as possible after the budget is sanctioned. The sums so distributed are called allotment. Definition of term appropriation. The assignments made by the President from the charged portion of the budget to meet specific expenditure on charged items are called appropriation. Definition of budget order. The orders by means of which the allotments are made are called budget order. Definition of vote on account. The Parliament has power to make grant in advance in respect of the estimated expenditure for a part of any financial year pending the completion of the prescribed normal procedure. This is known as vote on account. Definition of Appropriation Bill. After demands for grants have been voted by the Parliament, there shall be introduced a bill to provide for the appropriation out of the Consolidated Fund of India of all monies required to meet the grants made by the Parliament. This bill is known as the Appropriation Bill. Let's come to discuss on financial structure. The earnings of the railways are broadly divided in three categories. Earnings from sale of coaching services. Earnings from sale of transport of goods services. Earnings from sundry other items or services like sale of grass and trees on line, rent for land and buildings, advertisements, etc. The money thus earned is not directly available for expenditure to be done by the railways as it flows into the Consolidated Fund of India. Money is withdrawn from the Consolidated Fund of India through the presentation of budget. The money which is drawn from the Consolidated Fund of India is under two broad categories into revenue expenditure and capital or works expenditure. What comes under revenue expenditure? This comprises of 1. Ordinary working expenses incurred by various departments on the railways in their day-to-day working. For example, general superintending services, repairs and maintenance of assets, operating expenses, welfare expenses, etc. 2. Other miscellaneous expenditures like expenditure on railway board, audit, surveys, etc. It also includes appropriation to depreciation reserve fund, pension fund and dividend paid by railways to general revenue. And what comes under capital or works expenditure? It is that expenditure which is incurred on acquisition, construction and replacement or renewal of assets. It may be met from capital outlay provided by the central government, known as capital at charge, from the various funds created as a part of provision or appropriation from revenue expenditure as also from savings generated by railways.